Hilchas Avadim Perik Chi. Yisrael shebo al shivcha knainis is afal pi shi shivcha say. But nevertheless, hareze avlad knaini lechol dover. The child has a din of an evet knaini. Notice if a yid that was baal shivcha knainis, so the child has nothing to do with the yid. The child has a din of an evet knaini. And even if the one that was baal the shivcha knainis was the adn of the shivcha knainis. And the chiddush is that there would be a svara, the Ram brings such a svara in Hilchas Gerushin, that if a person was born his own shivcha knainis, mistama einod demesa beilasi beilasnos, so mistama he was mishacher her, and memela, so the child is his child. So we say no, that this din of einod demesa beilasi beilasnos only applies if a person was married to a woman and then he divorced her, and then he was baal, so we assume einod demesa beilasi beilasnos, and he was baal l'shem kedushin because she was once his wife. But Stamazeh, when a person is baal shivcha, we don't say no demesa beilasi beilasnos, and therefore the child has a din, a regular child of a shivcha knainis. The child of a shivcha knainis, regardless of who the boil is, has a din of an evet. And therefore, v'nimker, v'nikne, u'mishtamshem be'le'elim k'shar avadim, the child of a shivcha knainis, regardless of who the father is, has a din of an evet. Now, echad ha'koyne evet knainim Yisrael, oy min ger toishav, oy min goy shu kavish tachas yadeinu, oy ma'achad mish'ar umes, wherever a person buys an evet, either he buys it from another yid, or he buys it from a ger teshav, or he buys it from a goy, either goy shekavish tachas yadeinu, all of these din have a din of an evet knaini. In the pastos, Lashon HaRambam sounds like it's the same din. We discussed before, when a person buys an evet knaini from a Yisrael, so since the Yisrael was gufi kanui, so when you buy it from the Yisrael, you also have gufi kanui. Masha'enke, when a person buys an evet knaini from a goy, so by the goy he wasn't gufi kanui, so al derezeh, when you buy it from the goy, he's also not gufi kanui, and therefore the goy, this goy that you bought from the other goy, so if he's going to go ahead and be toivel l'shem gerus, will become a ger. Only when he's toivel l'shem avdos, at that point in time he becomes a full evet. Like we'll learn Behemshech. The Ram also doesn't say it so clearly, but l'chura that's the pshat, that even though the Ram is saying echad hakein evet knainim Yisrael, or you buy it from a goy, but there's bemis a difference, because when you buy it from a Yisrael, so it's gufi kani. Masha'enkin, when you buy it from a goy, so at that point in time, it's not gufi kani. It's only there's a efshari behemshech to be a gufi kani. Yeah. Then the Ram continues, leshle limkeres atzmei liyisrael eved. A goy is able to sell himself to a Yisrael eved. Varehu eved knaina l'chol davar. In other words, before we were speaking about someone that was already an eved, and the question is, you bought him from someone that already had him an eved. Either you bought him from a Yisrael, or you bought him from a goy. Now the Ram is saying a person can sell himself. A goy is capable of selling himself as an eved, and he has a din of an evet knaina l'chol davar. And v'chein mecher bonav ubnesav. A person is allowed, a goy is allowed to go ahead and sell his own children, sai bonim and sai bonis. Shenem mehem tiknu mimishpachtom asher yimochem asher hilidu ba'artzachem. You could go ahead and buy from their mishpacha. And v'cholechad mi'elu, any person that you buy, either you buy a person that sold himself, or you buy a person that sold his child, one of his children. So either way, v'cholechad mi'elu hareu ke'evet knaini l'chol davar. He has the din of evet knaini. So B'kitzur, so there's a din, an evet knaini is someone you bought either from a goy or from a yid, or you bought someone that was selling himself, or he was selling his own children. Selling his own children, he has a din of a yid. Has a din of an evet knaini. And we learned that a yid that was born evet knaini, so the child has a din of an evet, even if it was the owner of the evet. Now, echad min ha'umes, halachid gimel, echad min ha'umes shebal shivcha knaini shalanu. If a goy was baal shivcha knaini shalanu, is also harei bin evet knaini. The child has a din of an evet knaini. Shenemar asher hilidu ba'artzachem. That it says v'gam b'bnei ateshav magorim mimochem, which asher hilidu ba'artzachem. So we're learning out hilidu ba'artzachem means that they were mailed from your shvachis. That's the din. Asher hilidu ba'artzachem, they have a din of an evet. Mehem tiknu. Aval evet shalonu shebo al achas min homes. So if a goy was baal a shivcha knainis, so the child has din of an evet. Masha'enkin, an evet, which was baal achas min homes, so even though the father is an evet, but nevertheless ain't a ben evet. The fact that the father is an evet doesn't make the ben into an evet. Shnemer ashehilidu ba'artzachem ve'evedin liyachas. So this din that you're having a din of an evet is talking about a goy, a zochar, which was born a shivcha knainis. So over there, the child has a din of an evet. But fakert, an evet, a zochar, which was born on a goya, so that child doesn't have a din of an Eved, because that doesn't have a din of Haylidu. An Eved is Ein Liyachas. So mainly you don't look at the Eved as being Haylidu, he was the Moilid. Being the Moilid is someone that has a child, and the child is considered his child. But an Eved is not considered an Eved as the Adem al-Chamer Mamish. And Mamela, he has no Yachas, and therefore you don't call him Asher Hilidu. The emes is that when a goy was born a shivcha knainis, it's also not called Hilidu. Because Lepel, since he's Baal a shivcha knainis, there's no real Yachas to the goy that was Moilid her, Moilid this child. But Bechlolos, a goy, the Shaykh is the in of Hilidu, the Shaykh is the in of Chayas, Lamashal, an Amoini, which is Ba on a Goya, which is from a different nation, so the child has the din of an Amoini, it goes Basar Av. So over there's a Chayas, Mashaikin an Eved Bechlal, there's no musik to say that an Eved should go Basar the Eved. Whereas the whole musik of Chayas, Asher Hilidu, is not there by an Eved. And therefore this din, that Habal Shivcha Knainis Asher Hilidu Ba'arzachem, and the din is that your koine, the child has a din of a shivcha, of a bas shivcha, has a din of an eved. That's only when there was a goy that baal a shivcha. Mashaikin an eved that was baal a goya. So since an eved is be'emes not shaykhus to the whole musig of hilidu, so therefore the pasuk over there which refers mehem tiknu that they have a din of an eved doesn't apply to an eved which is baal a goya, but it only applies to a goy that was baal on a shivcha. Halacha Daled. Melech Goy she'asa mulchama v'hevi shivi u'machra. Now the din is, as we said before, that a Goy could own an Eved. He doesn't own him mamish in a way that he owns his guf. He only has a shibur on his malacha. But on the other end, he could own an Eved. Mashenkin of a mashal, if a Goy will go ahead and steal somebody, and then he'll go sell him to a Yid, so the Yid is not going to own him, because Lepeil, the guy never really owned him. There has to be a legitimate owning of the guy. The guy could own an Eved, and then when the guy goes ahead and sells him to the Yid, so the Yid goes again, he owns him a shibur on his malacha, and then the Yid can transform it that it should become a gather of a kinyan aguf through milu tefillah that he becomes an Eved Knaini. Now, melech goy sha'asim mulchama, v'hevi shivi u'machra, a goy, a melech, went ahead and had a mulchama with another country, and he brought captives, and he went ahead and sold them. V'chein im hirsha l'chol mi sheyirtza, sheyelech v'yignev mi'uma sheyesi mulchama, sheyavi v'yimkre la'atzmi. In other words, this king is having a mulchama with another country, so he says that anyone that grabs someone from that other country which he's having a war with, and he's able to grab from that country, and that would be considered shvuya mulchama, and that would have a din that he has a din of emes shvuyim. So he went ahead and gave out a decree that anyone that grabs someone from that country could go ahead and grab them and sell them. So that's pshat, is this king is taking captives from another country, or he's telling the people in his country to take the captives from the country that he's having mulchama with. V'cheinim hoyu dinov shekol mishaliyit namas, in his own country, someone that's not going to pay the taxes is yimacher, should be sold. In misha'asa kach v'kach aleyasa, someone that does it or doesn't do it is yimacher. So in other words, this is a din of this musik, that this person is being sold as an eved is not something he's doing from his own free will. It's something that is being imposed on him, but is being imposed by the melech. So the din is harei din of dinim. So that din is a din that's not called gneva, that's called a din, and therefore ve'eved hanilkach b'dinim elu, an eved that's bought with these laws that this king instituted. So the din is harei ukevet knaini l'chol davar. He'll have a din of an eved knaini. In other words, the pashtus, it's not pshat, is at this point in time when the goy takes him, he doesn't have a din of an eved knaini. He has a din of an eved of a goy. And when the goy sells him, he still also only has a din of an eved of a goy. Agam, the Rambam next halacha is going to say that when the goy sells him to the Yid, so he gets a din of an eved knaini. But as the Kesef Mishnah adds, that it has to be only on the condition that the Yid goes ahead and he's mold v'tavel, so he becomes a kinyan aguf. In other words, again, a goy could have a kinyan shibud on the Maisa Yodayim, and that's only if it's a legitimate shibud. In other words, a legitimate shibud is either the goy sold himself, or the goy was sold his children, or as we're saying over here, that there's a musig of shvuya mulchama, or there's another musig that a person within the kingdom, the king could decree that this person should be sold. So all this are legitimate avadim. And therefore, Eved Anilkach B'dina Melu is a din of an Eved Knaini l'chol davar. He has a din of an Eved Knaini. An Eved Knaini normally means with Evet Knaini, we're talking about a Yisrael that has an Evet Knaini. It means that from this Evet could evolve, he should become an Evet Knaini l'chol davar. Halacha hey, goy shekona goy le'avdus is leikona gufei. Ve'en be'elam ha'isayada, like we said. Aber afal became a mocher Yisrael, if he sells him to a yid, is that a gufi konel Yisrael. That's when the guf becomes konel Yisrael. And as the Kesef Mishnah says, it doesn't happen memela. And that's why this Eved, which is being sold from the goy to the yid, before the yid goes ahead and is matbul Shem Avdus, this goy could go ahead, this Eved could go ahead and be toivel L'Shem Ben Cher. Because Lepel, it doesn't happen memela that he's mocher Yisrael, becomes gufi konel Yisrael. It's only once he's mocher Yisrael, so then there's an opportunity that should be gufi konel Yisrael. Yeah, it begins in the kud of the din is that there's a musik of dinah de malchus dina, and therefore, so that didn't apply. Aside when a melech is first of all he takes b'chinas milchama, he takes shvuyim, so those shvuyim are considered his rechush, and therefore he could go ahead and sell them. That's considered proper sale. That's not considered a gneva. And then there's l'chura another chidush that he's having milchama with another country, and he didn't they weren't captives. But he went ahead and he told the people of his country that anyone that takes any captives from that country could go ahead and take captives and sell them. So normally, a melech comes along and says anyone that takes captives from another country could go ahead and sell them. That's gneva. That's not called a proper eved, even in the goyish standards. But on the other hand, since he's having milchama with them. So you have to understand, since he's having milchama with them, therefore he's in the position to take captives from them. And if he takes captives from them, so it would be considered a proper captive, and therefore he could go ahead and sell them. So who had din, he could institute that anyone else that wants to take captives from them could also take captive. So that's the din when he's having milchama. Certainly, if there's things that's happening in his own country, and he institutes that a law that if someone does something or doesn't do something, so he is going to be sold. So again, that sale is a proper sale. And then when the goy goes ahead and sells him to a yid, so then that yid, he turns into an Evet Knaini. The Ram doesn't say it, but the Pashtus Advarim is only after there's Tefillah and Mila and Tefillah. Halacha Vov. Ha'isha koine shvachis, ve'ena koine avodim. A woman is allowed to be koine shvachis, but she's not allowed to be koine avodim vafilu ktanim, and that's not a woman could have a kinyan. A Yiddish woman could have a kinyan on an evet. But on the other hand, she shouldn't be koine avodim mipnei akshat, because of the kshat. So avodim, the fact that the isha is being koine avodim it causes a kshat. The im konso isa, b'lepel if she was koine, is a reza konso gufim kish. In other words, it's a issue to go ahead and be koine. But lepel if she is koine, so it's a ma'isa kinyan. Then the Ram says v'yiroli she'ein asura liknas al evet ben tesha shanim mitesha olamayla. Because only mitesha shanim olamayla is biyasei biyah. So there's the dinam of Yisr Yichud and all other dinam which are related to someone that's ben tesha shanim olamayla. Mashiach is under ben tesha shanim olamayla, so it's not shaykh b'nei achshad. There's no Yisr Yichud, and the mele she is able to buy avodim which are younger than 9 years old. V'chein. So that's the number one, that a woman shouldn't be buying avodim. She could buy a shivcha, but she shouldn't be buying avodim. V'chein, osir la'odam l'shachar evet knaini. There's a isra, I don't know what the v'chein is. There's one din, there's a isha kein shvachas. Now there's another din, that a person is not allowed to be mishachar evet knaini, v'chola mishachar ever be'esa. Shenamar la'olam behem taveda. From the word la'olam behem taveda, we learn out that it's an asset to continue working with the evet and not to be mishachar. The shikhr is meshukhr, k'mesha b'yanu. So maybe that's the v'chein. V'chein, just like over here, there's an issue to be meshachrim. But on the other end, if you were shachar, you're meshukhr. So just like by a shivcha. The shivcha over there, it's a issue of mitzad. There's an issue for her to buy him. But lepel, if she buys him, he's bought. He becomes hers. So al deras over here, there's an issue to meshachar. But lepel, in shikhr meshukhr, k'mesha b'yanu. The koifenoisei lichtev get shikhr b'choladachin shebiyanu. As we mentioned, we learned various different things that happened, which we say that it's a gather of hefker, like he was mafker the eved, and memela he writes a get shikhr. So the chura now we're learning that it's also the b'mishachar. So it's taka also to b'mishachar eved. But on the other end, if you did something which causes that this eved you should no longer have a shibud on him, a shibud mamenis, let's say al derech you a mafker avdei, or you put him on film, or you called him up to Sefer Torah B'tzibur. So all those things which show that you're being mafker, that you're relinquishing your rights over him, your moment is the rights over him. So at that point in time, this kaifan, they say lichtav get shikhr. In other words, even though normally it's asur l'shachar evet, it's like asur l'shachar evet, but if lepel you did something which causes that you should no longer have a shibud on him, so now there's kaifan eisel lichtav get shikhr. All those places that we said that he's considered free, but on the other end he's sort of get shikhr. That's it. So b'kitzur, it's also the mishachar and eved. On the other end, if you did something which shows that you're losing you gave up your bailus on him, so then there's a chiyuv to mishachar him. And lepel, if you were mishachar in a time where you didn't do anything before, but you went ahead and you were mishachar him, so lepel he's mishachar. Then there umutar l'shachrei l'dvar mitzvah. You're allowed to be mishacher and eved, even though there's a isser to be mishacher and eved. It's an isser esa. But on the other end, l'dvar mitzvah is mutar afilu l'mitzvah shel devreim, even for a mitzvah derabban kigain shalei hoyu asor beis hakneses is areze mishacher avdei umashlim be'aminin. So the Rambam, other places it's brought down other rishonim that having a asor beis hakneses is considered a mitzvah gedela. Therefore, it's mutar l'shacher. The Rambam is saying that even though it's only a mitzvah shel devreim kigain shalei hoyu beis hakneses, is nevertheless a reason mishacher avdei mashlim be'aminin v'chein kol ki eitz b'zeh. So that's a situation where you're allowed to be mishacher eved. V'chein shivcha shnei agim min ha'om minik hefker mele v'arei michshel l'choitim is koifenes rabba u'mishachera kidei shetinose v'yoser ha'michshel. So you have a hechatimtza of a shivcha, which lepel is causing that as a result of the fact that she's a shivcha, the male she's asura to get married. So she's and lepel choitim pashtus means even yidden that are choitim are being nichshel in her. So as a result of that is koifenes rabbe kedei shetinose v'yoser ha'michshel v'chein kol ki'etz b'zeh. So that would be the hechatimtza where you could be over on this eser of le'elam behem taved. Halacha zayin yochel harav leima la'avdi knaini asei imi ve'ini zoncha. There's no chiyuv. By an eved, there's a chiyuv. The tevle imov, there's a chiyuv to feed him. You have to give him even the same type of food that you eat yourself. Masha'ik and an eved knaini, there's no chiyuv to feed him. You could say asei imi ve'ini zoncha. You could demand that he works for you. And eini zoncha elamai, how is he going to be in the spine? How is he going to live? Eliyelech v'yishal al apsochim v'yisparnis min tzedakah. You should go and be misparnis min tzedakah. And the Rambam is she Yisrael mitzuva v'hachis v'avadim shebineim. Memela, since Yisrael is mitzuva l'hachas ha'avodah shebeneim, so therefore he's able to get stuck. In other words, the meduyik over here, the Rambam brings from the Dibris Meisha, there's meduyik over here that if he wouldn't be able to get stuck, so he taka wouldn't be able to say aseimi veinezonch, because lepel knows if he has an evet knaini, and the evet knaini, the only way he's going to get food is from this odin, so the odin would be mechuyev to feed him. Al derech he's mechuyev to feed his behema. By a behema, a person owns a behema. So in Hilchos Shabbos and Perek Chafalv, at the end of Perek Chafalv in Hilchos Shabbos, over there he speaks about feeding a behema. So there's a behema which mizenes of olav. Mizenes of olav means you have like an obligation to feed this behema. He's your behema. You have an obligation to feed him. So l'chura and evet knaini shouldn't be worse than a behema. If you have an obligation to feed a behema, so l'chura you have an obligation also to feed the Evet Knaini. The answer is no, because since the Evet Knaini has the option to be misparnis min tzedakah, why does he have that option? Because Yisrael is the mitzuvah l'hachis ha'avadim shebeneim, so that gives you the right to say asei mi veinezoncha. That's l'chura the Pashton Ram. B'med dvarim amurim that you could say asei mi veinezoncha ba'avodav. It's your avodim. She'ein bezin niskoken l'gdolim lishmar mamenam. Even though maybe it's not so smart to go ahead and say asei mi veinezoncha, because that first of all he might die. And secondly, he might run away. But nevertheless, ain't Bezin is kokum ligdoil lishma mamena. Bezin is not worried if you have an eved. You're saying I say mi vein zoncha. So even though it may not be smart, but lepel Bezin is not mechuyev to worry about your money. V'im liyachal avoda v'yashkim karoi is heim yivrucho yemusu. V'odem chosna mamanatzme yesim mikolodem. I'm not sure why the Ram adds this. Odem chosna mamanatzme yesim mikolodem. So therefore, he should worry about his own money. So in other words, Bezin is not mechuyev to worry about it. Normally, a person worries about his own money, and memela. So therefore, if you're not worried, you're not worried. L'chura. Aval, I'm saying this word. V'odem chosel mamanatzmi yesim mikolodem. L'chura means that since he's chos, if he's going to see there's a problem, he's going to take care of the problem. That's l'chura the pshat. Adam chos al maman atzmi yesem mikol adam. Or maybe since Adam chos al maman atzmi yesem mikol adam, therefore Bezdin is takinam mechuyev to worry about his money. The person let him worry himself about his money. So Adam gadol should be chos al maman atzmi. Avil, that's talking about when it's his own avodim, and he says, "Asay mivein his own chos." He has no chiyuv to be on them, and also we have no chiyuv to worry about the fact that he may be losing his eved as a result of it. Avil avodim sheichnisu leishtei b'teres nichsim malug. The avodim that really belongs to his wife, and he should brought it in as nichsim malug. So memeli he only has the right to the payers of these avodim. So now he's going to go ahead and say, "Asay mivein his own chos." No chayiv b'zein nisayim. That's his chiyuv towards his wife. Whereas if she was machnas them to him, so now he has a right to take the payers, but only on the condition that he treats them in a proper way, and he's not going to make them be lost. He's not mechuy, so he's not really worried at what happens if they get lost, and therefore he has no right to go ahead and use these avodim. No, this is his rights towards his wife. It's his wife's avodim, and he's going ahead and using this avodim, and Lepel is using them in a way which is causing them to get lost, to die or to run away. So therefore, that's not his rights. He has the rights to use it, but only on the condition that he uses them in such a way that they're preserved. And mainly he has to feed them. Halacha ches. Muter lavid be'evet knaini beforach. We learned before that in Eved Ivri there's an Isra lisavid be'beforach. Benegea an Evet Knaini, there's no such a din. There's no din of lisavet be beforach. So memela mutter lavet be'evet Knaini beforach. But aval bisha adin kach. Even though be'emes mikra the din you're allowed to work beforach. We learned before beforach means either a malacha sheina tzricha or a malacha that's not. There's no gvul to the malacha. Aber midas chsidus v'darki chachma sheiyah adam rachaman v'roidev tzedek and v'leyachbed ulei al avdei. He shouldn't be machbed the oil on the Eved, and v'lei yotzerle, he shouldn't make things difficult for him. In other words, he should be a rachman and a reid of tzedek, and therefore he shouldn't put a heavy yoke on him, and also he shouldn't make things that is uncomfortable for him. V'yachileu, v'yashkeu, mikol meichel, mikol mishta. He should give him to eat, not only should give him to eat, he should give him to eat, mikol meichel, mikol mishta. So there's nachamal. So, mikra the dinner, you don't have to feed an Eved. Mikra the dinner, you're allowed to work with an Eved beforach. But on the other end, that's mikra the dinner. Abamidas chsidus v'darki achachma, that a person shouldn't be worked beforach, he should be a rachman and a reid of tzedek, v'liyachbed ulei alavdei, and also he should feed him. He should feed him, yachileu v'yashkeu, mikol meichel, mikol mishta. Chacham rishenim ayinoisen le'eved, mikol tavshel v'tavshel sheka'oyu eichlin. Umagdimin mezena behemes v'havodim l'sudas atzma. So the Ram seems to say that mezena behemes, the fact that he gives kedem l'sudas atzma is midas chsidus. That's chacham rishenim, some midas achachma. But in Shulchan Aruch it's brought down that it's a chiyuv. That it's a chiyuv lahaychel lebehemte. Alter Rebbe brings in Shulchan Aruch that it's a chiyuv lahaychel lebehemte before you meichel yourself. If a person owns a behema and he's mechuyev lahaychel yourself. The akol porim chacham rishenim hayneisen le'eved mikol tavshel v'tavshel shoyeichlim. Umagdimen mezena behemes v'avodim l'sudas atzma. Harei weimer keini avodim liyad adinayim keini shivchol yad gvirta. So we see that it's regular for an odin to feed the Eved, and alder is for the odin to feed the shivcha, gvirta to feed the shivcha. So and that's why they ain't avodim liyad adinayim. So that's the seder advarim. That's the proper seder where the odin feeds the Eved. That's benigeh feeding him. V'chein leiv aseu. You shouldn't embarrass him. Not biyad, you shouldn't do anything to embarrass him, and also even verbally, you shouldn't embarrass him verbally. You shouldn't insult him verbally. The Torah gave you a right to work with him, to use him for work, not to insult him, not to embarrass him. So that's nachadin, it's nachama. So we're learning over here that you're not machbed all of aveda, and you're meichelim, and nochmer you're meichelim, you call meichel mashke, you're meichelim even before you eat yourself, and you don't embarrass him, you don't insult him. And v'liyarbol of tzaika v'kas. And when you speak to him, you shouldn't scream at him, you shouldn't be angry at him. El yadaber imei benachas, and v'yishma tanesav. If he has complaints, you should listen to his complaints. V'chein mefurish b'darkei evat, because you could tie out what I have to listen to his complaints. He's my Eved. I don't have to listen to his complaints. So first of all, you shouldn't insult him, and you shouldn't insult him, and you shouldn't screen at him. And if he has complaints, you should listen to his complaints. וכן מפורש בדרכי עיר והטבע שהשתבח בהם עם אמס משפט עבדי והעמוסי בליבו מימודי. Would I like mimoya said, in other words, would I not listen to it? Would I disregard it? In other words, when they argued with me, I would listen to them. Ali bebeten iseni yasol vayichunenu berechem echad. That we're all coming from rechem echad. Ultimately, everyone comes from the rechem of Chavas, and the Mela, we're all coming from the same place. So even though he's the Adnish and the other one is the Eved, but nevertheless, he listens to his arguments. The Eino Achzori is Va'azus Mitsuya Ela Begoyim Ho'arelim Evdi Avidazara. Aval Zari Shel Avram Avinu Vehem Yisrael Shishpil Lam HaKadosh Baruch Hu Tevas HaTeira V'tziva Isa Bechukim U'Mishpatim Tzadikim is Rachmonim Heim Ala Kel. They have Rachmonis on everyone. This is also on Avadim. V'chein B'mideis Rishal HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shetzivonu Lihidom Izbehem. So it says that the Eibush is v'rachmol kol ma'asav, and then we have a chiyuv that we have to be doima l'drachav. That a person is supposed to be doima, that should be doima l'drachav. That ma'hu rachum afat rachum. So in Mela, so a person is supposed to be merachim. The chol merachim is merachim olav. So that's furthermore when a person is merachim, so the Eibush is merachim on him. Shneimar v'nosan l'charachmim v'yichamcha v'hirbecha. So the Eibusha will give you Rachmanis, will give you the Midas Rachmanis. That's how they're Chaim Taiches. The Eibusha gives you the Midas Rachmanis, and then you take a Mirachim on others, and then Virichamcha, that will encourage that the Eibusha will be Mirachim on you. That's Kol HaMirachim, Mirachim Olav. So V'nosan L'Charachim, the Eibusha gives you the Midas Rachmanis, and you utilize the Midas Rachmanis that the Eibusha gives, so then Virichamcha, the Eibusha will have Rachmanis on you, V'hirbecha. Brich Rachmana Desaya. The Rambam finishes off, I'm not sure if this is from Lashon HaRambam, it says, Nigmar Sefer Shnei Moser, Be'ezer Shin Daled Yud, U'minyan Prokim Shel Sefer Zeh, Shivim V'chamisha. Hilchas Mechira, Shleishim Prokim, Hilchas Chiyah Matana, Shnei Moser Prokim, Hilchas Shchenim, Arbosa Prokim, Hilchas Shluchim V'shutfim, Asara Prokim, Hilchas Avadim, Tisha Prokim.